seem to happen in the world of Buccaneer Bruce, as we call him on this show. And so, Mike T, for those of you who don't know, the analysts that we have on the show, they send in notes every day so that we can see what their thoughts are and stuff. And you, I don't know if you meant it this way or not, but Mike, you said 2 weeks ago, Tom Brady retired from the Buccaneers. Did you mean that to suggest that that was really a retirement from a team more than it was a retirement from the sport?
Yeah, I think so. I think as this plays out, I think if he played, he would be interested in going someplace else, and you just have to read his comments to sort of deduce that. So I think it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. I wouldn't be shocked if he played again. And to me, if he did, it would probably be someplace on the West Coast. So we'll see how this goes. If he ever says to Tampa Bay, I want to come back, it would really, from a cap standpoint, harm them significantly. So it really, both sides would have a lot to work through if he decides to come back at some point over the summer.
Yeah, I feel the need to keep reminding the audience that Brady's path to playing almost wherever he wants to is one that you know personally, because you brought Brett Favre over from Green Bay. He then retired again after one season with the Jets. And then when you traded up and drafted Mark Sanchez, Favre recognized if he unretired, you weren't going to keep him, and that would put in motion his ability to go wherever he wanted. Is that the game plan for Brady here if he wants it?
Yeah, and most notably, there is no way, Greeny, we would have let Brett Favre play in the AFC. We didn't want to have a great quarterback prohibit us from getting to the Super Bowl. So likewise, I'm sure if Tom Brady said, hey, I want to come back, and at that point he said, I'm not playing for you guys in Tampa, my response is, after I try to cajole, recruit, and whatever verb you want to use, if you really want to do that, Tom, you are not playing in the NFC, and we'll trade you to some team in the AFC, but there's no way that if you say you're not coming back here and want to play, we're not going to let you go to San Francisco or another team that may inhibit our chances of getting to the Super Bowl.
All right. So, again, was the word shocked that Arians used?
Shocked.
Be shocked. RG3, would you be shocked if Tom Brady played again?
Oh, no, I wouldn't be shocked at all. I wouldn't put anything past Tom Brady. You know, he could be saying that he's retired and then be working in the bat cave to be the week 1 starter for the Indianapolis Colts. We never know. But when it comes to this rift between him and Bruce Arians, he always has plausible deniability because he never really responds to these types of stories. You know, he does too much. He makes too many statements with his play, his rings, and those magnificently edited videos that he posts on social media. Hats off to his social media team. But I just don't see Brady coming back like a Favre. He's 44 years old, right? But if anybody can beat Father Time, then it's Dr. Strange himself, Tom Brady. He's been doing it for a long time, so I don't put anything past this man.
Okay, so just for the fun of it, you used Indianapolis there as a straw man, if you will, in this conversation. Did you do that advisedly? Does that seem, if he decides he wants to play again, is that a spot that makes sense to you?
Well, I think, you know, Mike T gave some great insight into what the process of him coming back to play and how he would handle that as a general manager. But, yeah, Indy's a great team for Tom Brady to play for. They've got the pieces in place, great defense. Offensively, he's got a great running back in Jonathan Taylor that he can lean on, an offensive line to protect him, and it's indoors. So this late in his career, maybe he doesn't have to worry about weather as much as he has in his past 2 stops, whether it's too cold in New England or too hot in Tampa Bay. So Indy would be a good spot, but we're also just contemplating and talking about a guy who's just trying to hang out with his wife and his kids right now.
Perhaps, but I like the Goldilocks analogy. You know, is it too hot in one place and too cold? But is there one that's just right, Dan Graziano? How about it? What is your sense of how this thing is playing out in front of us?
I think, you know, to Mike T's point, if Brady wants to come back and play for a team that's not Tampa Bay, the first thing that has to happen is Tampa Bay has to replace him. Right, because once they have another quarterback under contract, then that gives him leverage. If he says, you know what, hey, I do want to play, but you know, you guys can't afford me anymore. So let's talk about, are you going to trade me somewhere? Are you going to cut me? So again, we are in a hypothetical realm. We do not know. This is fun to talk about. Like, would he want to come back and play for somebody else? It may be that he's watching and going, these guys are nuts. I'm retired. This is never going to be an issue. But this is Tom Brady. You know, he played till he's 44. He could be walking around with, you know, tennis balls on the bottom of his walker, you know, decades from now, and we'll still be saying, he might be able to give it another go. So
that's the one thing I will say. If he's watching right now, it's a lock. He's coming back. If what he's doing with his time right now is watching Get Up on ESPN, then he's definitely coming back. Mike T, give me a final word. Go.
Yeah, we're speculating, but Tom Brady's the reason we are. He could have told Jim Gray, never, ever, ever am I playing again. He did not say that, and I think that's worth noting.
Oh, 100%. Yes, but we are clinging to that like there was no tomorrow. Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.